In this video, we're going to go over quality checks with Bauplan and Claude Code. We will cover the IDE environment and Bauplan skills plugins for Claude, assessing a data pipeline's quality needs, creating a quality checks Python file, and then testing a pipeline with the quality checks. The first thing I want to do is bring your attention to the environment. In my right terminal, I've got Claude Code. And in my file browser, I've got a number of different files. First, my CLAUDE.md that I downloaded from Bauplan's GitHub repo. I also have a data exploration Python file that came out of a data exploration session I did on some tables in Bauplan, of which I then created an e-commerce pipeline, as you'll see here. This is a pipeline that is going to create metrics off of the tables that came out of my data exploration session. Another thing you can do is you can actually download Bauplan skill files via the skill GitHub repo, and you can do that via the Anthropic marketplace. You simply copy this code and then put this directly into Claude Code. You can then type in plugins in Claude Code. This will allow you to actually see the plugins you've installed via the marketplace. They'll be in the installed section, and you can see them here that Bauplan has been installed and we are ready to get working. Okay, let's set the scene here. So what I've done is I have created an e-commerce pipeline, as you can see here, running in Bauplan's jobs in the Bauplan UI. I want to add some quality checks along with this pipeline to make sure that the data that is coming in and out is the type of data that we need to be able to successfully run this pipeline. To do that, I've got a query that I've put together that came out of my data exploration session, and I'm going to put that into Claude and get this quality check session started. You'll see Claude is asking if I want to use the quality check skill that we downloaded via Anthropic Marketplace. I'll say yes to that, and that will get Claude moving in the right direction to start adding checks based on the pipeline that we've built. You can see here it's building a comprehensive expectations Python file that's coming out of the quality check skill, and it's a way for us to specify the data's input and outputs so that we know that we have what we need for a successful pipeline. Let's look at the artifact real quick. You can see here there's a number of Bauplan decorators being used. This is Bauplan's SDK, and it is creating a number of functions that will run and look at the e-commerce pipeline's inputs and outputs to validate that this is what we're expecting to have at the end of our pipeline run. Now that we have this expectations Python file made, let's have Claude do a dry run with our Bauplan pipeline. It's going to set up the DAG for the dry run and run it locally before it does any materialization to the Bauplan lakehouse. Here, it's just asking to run it. We'll say yes. Job has started. It's working through the different event type validations from the expectations Python file. And great, it has found an issue. That is, event type values in the source data does not match the expected enum. So we're going to check what values actually exist in the e-commerce sessions table. We'll have it go and run this query on the source tables. Great, so Claude found it. The source data has event type values of view, cart, and purchase, but the expectation expects view, click, purchase, and add to cart. So these are different enums between each other. At this point, Claude is now going to update the expectations Python file to match the actual data. All right, it's going to make updates to the expectations Python file, and then we will test the updated expectations Python file with another dry run. We'll now verify the output in the dry run. Claude working through a couple errors, but here we are. The dry run is executing. Once it's complete, we'll see a summary of what happens. And the thing we end up with is an expectations file with 10 quality checks. Staging sessions, we'll do an enum check. We'll check for referential integrity, business rules, and monitoring. For staging users, we'll do an enum check as well, and we'll do monitoring for category and the minimum 1,000 rows. And for session metrics, the final output, we do an enum check, and then we'll also monitor. We're just double checking that the dry run is finished, and yes, it is completed successfully, and we will now check the results. Great, the dry run succeeded. All expectations compiled and executed without blocking failures. The status shows completed with no errors. So the pipeline DAG did validate successfully for staging sessions, for staging users and session metrics, the pipeline that we created to do all this. And the warn level checks, which are minimum row counts, ran without asserting. So warnings will appear in the run logs if thresholds are crossed. Everything's ready. We can now commit or proceed with the full run on the dev branch. And this is a great example of how we can use Bauplan along with agents to create quality checks for our data pipelines.